where do Americans think the economy is going right now?
Yeah, here is the reality check for everyone. And I would just say this is the problem for the president of the United States. You get elected to fix the economy, and the American people, they ain't buying it, because just take a look here. Say the economy is getting worse. Right after Donald Trump was elected back in 2024, reelected, 42% of Americans said the economy is getting worse. Well, you want that number to go down. You want that number to go down if you're the president of the United States. Instead, it's going up. What are we talking about? Now, 55% of Americans say that the economy is getting worse. I don't know how you win when the majority of Americans say the economy is getting worse, because you go back through the record books, and that is a formula that equals failure.
And what do Americans want Trump to focus on the most?
Yeah, this, I think, is the whole kit and caboodle, right? Much of the news stories over the month of January were focused in on Minneapolis, focusing in on controlling immigration and reducing crime. Those are two things that the president of the United States and his administration has been arguing about. But where do the American folks say that Trump should be focused? Say their top priority should be lowering prices, 54%, the clear majority. We have looked at poll after poll after poll after poll after poll. I'm exhausting myself just talking about it. And every single poll say that their top priority should be lowering prices or the economy. And it is still the case. Much lower down, controlling immigration at 22%, even lower than that, reducing crime at 10%. You add together 22 and 10, you get to 32. And you don't have to be a mathematical genius to know that 54 is larger than 32. The Trump administration is putting their focus on the wrong issues, the issues that are not most important to the American public. And when you are focusing on the wrong issues, and the vast majority of Americans, or the clear majority of Americans, say that the economy is getting worse, again, this is X plus Y equals failure. Failure, failure, failure going into the midterm elections, because Donald Trump was elected to fix the economy, and it's still belief in the American people.
There you go. So a little bit of long opening. Hi, it's me. Failure. I love that last part from and this morning. That's this morning, folks. Failure, 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 because it is really about the economy for most people. 54% is a staggering number of people who care about the fact that they can't pay their bills. Okay. And Donald Trump lied his way into office because the price of eggs, saying he's going to fix it, and he has not fixed it. Meanwhile, crime has gone down naturally because things are better. We're further and further away from the pandemic. You know, immigration, they're trying to get us that, and there's a lot of really terrible things going on in the world. And I wanted to open with this conversation because that is the issue, folks. The fact is, in the end, none of the things that the administration and the Republican doormat Congress are focusing on has a damn thing with making life better for average Americans. And the desperation, I'm not going to show the clips of like Scott Bessent and others and Rubio and all these people saying illegal immigrants are the reason housing is so expensive. They want to blame illegal immigrants, you know, people who have come here, immigrants, for the reason things cost too much. No, the fact is, we all know immigrants contribute more to the economy than they take out of it. It's common sense, but we actually have data. Cato, for God's sake, the Cato Institute put out a study this week showing that immigrants over the last 20 years have contributed more to the tax base than taken from it. They carry more weight for our nation than take from it, which is not something I could say for a lot of red states right now. And the fact is, all they're trying to do, they're trying to lie to us. I cannot believe that Scott Bessent went before Congress this week and said that really is illegal immigrants making housing sunset. Like they're buying 500,000 homes and they're driving the rent up. It's stupid beyond measure. Okay. And you and I live out in the real world. We live in a real world where real world issues face us. And one of those big issues right now is the fact we can't afford to buy food. Working class Americans, blue collar workers are getting hit the hardest by all of this. Rent's gone up, energy's gone up, food's gone up over and over and over. But there are big issues we have to do. Now, I'm not dismissing all the things that are happening. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening in the world of justice and policing and our country as a whole, corruption. But I did want to start off by making it clear that this is an issue. And here's the rest of that piece. I don't usually run with one long piece on the show, as you guys know, I like little short videos. But here's the rest of that piece about where this is going. Because you know what? The Republicans are in trouble, and they know it. Show how much trouble they're in, Satchel.
So I guess the question, as we get closer and closer to the midterms, which party do people trust, knowing how they feel about how Donald Trump has handled things when it comes to the economy?
Right. The economy, right? Affordability. You know, Donald Trump has been dismissing affordability concerns. But when 54% say the top priority should be lowering prices, not much of a surprise, right? Party trusted more in affordability. Overall, it's the Democrats by 14. Look at this. Among independents, I'm laughing. It's 39 points. It's a blowout. This is the entire ball game right here. And when you're having a 39-point lead among independents, a 14-point lead overall on affordability, and right now the top priority, the Americans say, should be lowering prices for the Trump administration. This is the type of formula that equals major success for the Democrats come the midterms, if it holds.
And we have seen that in the special elections. We'll see if that holds in the midterms.
We shall see, Sarah.
We shall see. Oh, yeah, we're going to see, folks. And we're seeing it now. Special election after special election, Democrats are winning because you know what? We're focusing the issues that actually impact people's lives, right? And that does go for judge. Right now, we've got masked agents running amok in Minnesota. Okay, we've got masked agents running amok across the country. We've got threats against civilians. We've got people, being scooped up in the dark of the night by masked agents of the government. We've got DOJ in turmoil. It's become Donald Trump's personal attorneys. We've got ungodly amounts of corruption. That's the stuff that does drive up costs. That's the stuff that undermines the economy. Because believe it or not, all the things the Republicans and the doormat Congress and Trump are doing is actually making things worse in America. We need labor to build things. We need safety to go to work. We need an economy that works for everybody to grow the economy and make it safer, because when the economy is bad, crime goes. All these things are tied together and they're doing nothing. So as always, I want to talk about those other issues, okay? Because it all goes to that. And as you guys know, it's funny because where is ICE right now? Well, they're in Minnesota, right? Because they say that's where all the immigrants are. Why are they not in Texas? Because I'm pretty sure I've been getting told for my entire adult life that most of the illegal immigrants are in Texas or Florida or elsewhere. But those states are governed by Republicans, so they're not a target. There's a big election coming up in Texas, you guys. Not just at the federal level for Senate, but there's also some big state level elections that could have a major impact on that state's direction and our whole country. And as always, you guys know me here on Democracy FP Wellman. I get the best guests to have those conversations. And I finally found a guy with a crazier resume than me. And that's hard to find because I can't hold a job for nothing. But Tony Box can't hold a job for nothing either. And that's what makes him such a great candidate for Texas Attorney General and a great guest on Democracy to talk about all the things we're going to talk about. So as always, I am Fred Wellman. This is On Democracy with FP Wellman, right here the Mice Touch Network every Saturday night. Satchel, let's do a show, man. Run that music. Oh, shoot, splash. Welcome. There's Tony Box right there because Satchel brought him in right away. So Tony Box is a former Army officer, former FBI special agent, former SWAT team leader, federal prosecutor, now an attorney in private practice in Dallas, Texas, and a candidate for Texas Attorney General. Tony, you seriously have a great resume. Welcome to On Democracy FP1. I'm so glad to have you, brother.
Thank you so much, Fred. I've been fortunate. A lot of people get opportunities over the years to work with some great organizations. And I hope I haven't let them down.
No, well, you're still here. You're still doing good things, serving, and you're still serving your country. That's what I love about when I had the opportunity to meet you, and I said, well, this is a guy I get. He's about public service. He's about serving his community. He's about stepping up when the country needs you. The country needs you right now. Look, I did talk a little bit. We talked economy in the beginning here, but I have to talk about last week we had Sheriff Chris Swanson. He's up there in Michigan running for governor. You're in Texas running for AG, but you've also got an incredible thing. I mean, as you look at what you're seeing unfold in the streets of America, and I will start there. I mean, as you see ICE agents and CBP agents and how the DOJ is covering all this, are you shocked with your long record of law enforcement and prosecutor experience? I mean, does it shock you?
Yeah, I'm shocked and amazed. Disappointed, saddened, I just can't believe what I see. I mean, I'd worked with federal law enforcement officers for years and years and years. Actually, I was a federal law enforcement officer. I've worked with every three-letter agency there is. And to see these poorly trained ICE and Border Patrol agents kicking butt indiscriminately, it's amazing and it's sad, and it's not federal law enforcement that I know. And so this is some new thing that came in with this administration that tells you to take to the streets and beat people for the sake of beating them. And it needs to change. You know, I've been telling people for a long time that they just need to be pulled out of the streets of Minnesota and you know, go back to where they came from and get retrained and then talk about what comes next.
What worries me, and I talked to Chris about it last week, and I do want to bring it up again because, you know, we know the agent that shot Renee Good. We've now got the names. I'm not going to repeat them. The agents that allegedly shot Alex Preddy. They weren't actually rookies. I mean, these were agents who've been in the agencies for a while, and you served in the FBI. You've also been in the Army like me, which I really love. So you know that it isn't just the training possibly. I mean, the long-term training, but it feels like a cultural problem. You know, I told
It,
you
it,
last week, you know, when I had an army, unit like this, we broke it up, right? I mean, do you feel like there's a cultural issue that we've developed in DHS and the subordinate agencies?
it is. I mean, it's a cultural issue which comes from the top. A fish rots from the head down, right?
Yeah.
And if the leadership is bad, you know this. I mean, you spent your entire life studying leadership and exercising leadership. If the leadership is poor and they give direction to the people under them to go out and bust heads, then that's what they're going to do. If especially if they don't have the moral compass or the ability to push back. And so, yes, it's the leadership, it's the culture. They have created a culture which says, go out. These people are the enemy, as opposed to American citizens who are exercising their First Amendment right lawfully. These are the enemies, and you must beat them and punish them for this. And so it's something that I've never seen before, and I hope I never see it again.
Yeah, I saw a video where, you know, Bovino got sent home-ish, but I did see video of him hyping up the agents that were with him from CBP, saying, "Whose streets are streets? Whose streets are..." So, like, the F they are, they're not your streets. They're the
Yeah, they're not.
Minnesotas. They're you know, they're Minnesotans. They are American streets, and there's people you're supposed to serve. And you served in Iraq. You were an advisor to the Ministry of Interior, like I was an advisor to the MOI. I was an advisor to the MOD. You know, I mean, we didn't train the Iraqis to behave like this towards Iraqis. I mean, we punished Iraqis who divided the Iraqi people by religion, divided the Iraqi people by what militia they're a member of, didn't we? And we fought this, didn't we? I mean, you and I as servicemen, we fought this kind of mentality in our allied units, didn't we?
We fought it tooth and nail because the damage that it does to the mission and everyone around. And here in this case is the damage it does to the American people, the
American people,
names,
right.
our reputation, our standing in the world is all diminished because of what is taking place in Minneapolis and other large, mostly blue cities.
Right, right. And you're in Texas. I mean, they're not coming to Texas. The naked so let's circle that politicization of so much that you served. I mean, that's one of the things that worries me is, especially though I loved when you agreed to come on, I was like, oh my God, this guy, you served DOJ, you served an FBI. These are supposed to be nonpartisan roles. They're not, the DOJ is not the president's personal attorneys. You don't prosecute people. I mean, DOJ has truly gone off the rails, haven't they?
Yeah, way off the rails. So it must be a non-political organization. You cannot have a Department of Justice, which really its currency is its reputation. When he
Right.
walks in court, that the judge trusts you, that you're not lying to him or her. And they have lost that. They are morally bankrupt right now. And what we see now, you know, is a bleeding of professional lawyers, professional attorneys who want nothing more than to serve the nation respectfully and to do the right thing. But instead, they're being thrown in a political arena to carry out personal prosecutions and political prosecutions, to be the president's personal lawyers. And no self-respecting Department of Justice lawyer wants to do that, which is why they have shedded thousands and thousands of lawyers.
Yeah, I was shocked. I don't know if you saw the report that one justice attorney, the judge is beating her up because they haven't followed any of his orders, and she literally said, "Just put me in contempt because I'm exhausted. And she ended up getting fired, of course, because they're not going to let that happen. But I mean, my God, you were an attorney, you were a prosecuting attorney. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, it has to be almost a moral crisis, like a moral injury to go as a person who's dedicated your life to public service as a prosecutor and to have to go to court and defend some of these outrageous acts and knowing that your own agency and government will not follow the judge's rules, right? I mean, they're not going to follow the rulings, are they?
Yeah, it is a crisis. It's a crisis that many remaining lawyers are struggling with. They're quitting by the day. Some people say I'm going to hold on as long as I can, but most can't hold on any longer. Just like the lawyer you talked about. I mean, she said, hold me in contempt because this is crazy. I'm exhausted. She said all of those things, which I believe, and she was at a breaking point, right? And so many, I'm communicating with my buddies who have left, my buddies who remain. And in my practice currently, I deal with DOJ lawyers on a daily basis, and they are all exhausted and they all want to go back to a normal DOJ where they can serve and protect and prosecute bad guys and ladies and not be the personal prosecution force of the president.
And a DOJ and a government that follows judges' orders and respects the Constitution. I mean, I think the thread through your entire career clearly is raising your right hand. I mean, I mean, I always say I raise my right hand to oath the Constitution in the Army, but you did it as a prosecutor, you did it as a government, you did it as a congressional staffer, for F's sake. I mean, you guys, I didn't read all of Tony's bio. I'll put it in the summary. But you've been a prosecutor, you've been a congressional staffer, you've investigated Afghan, the corruption, and the contracting and corruption contracting. Contract corruption. There's such naked corruption occurring right now in our country, right? I mean, we're seeing that Donald Trump is looting our government in so many ways. We're seeing that billionaires looting the government in so many ways. I mean, you would probably have been appalled when you investigated the corruption in the Afghan contract, but now we see Donald Trump Jr. is getting contracts for people put him on the board and they put him on. I mean, is the corruption you're seeing? I mean, that really damages the entire country in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's corruption personified, right? I mean, yes, I saw incredible corruption in Afghanistan. We
Yeah.
could not believe our eyes when we investigated that corruption.
Yeah.
But what we see now parallels that or possibly exceeds it. And I don't even think that people care. The people who are committing this corruption, they think they are unaccountable and nothing's going to happen to them. So they're just looting the government. It's a bunch of grifters who are doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah. And there's no end.
But they should understand that many of these things, there's a statute of limitation. So they should keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to be up to Texas. It's going to be up to states like that. Are you talking to a friend? So one other thing, I have friends at the FBI. Will it hold? I mean, do you think I mean, we saw the FBI evaded, did go into the voting booth, the voting ballot, the ballots in Georgia. We're hearing other things. I mean, are you worried about the state of the FBI or our leading law enforcement agency too? I've hoped the Army will hold, but there's only 30,000 or so FBI agents and employees, right? I mean, are you worried about what you're seeing at the FBI?
Yeah, I'm deeply concerned. I'm incredibly worried that the agency will be broken to the point where it won't be able to operate effectively for years and years to come. It is actually broken now, but the key is, when will we be able to rebuild it, and how will we be able to rebuild it? Will we have the respect? Will we be able to recruit the top-notch recruits that the FBI has always recruited? The ability to get in the FBI is really, really difficult. It was high standards. I feel blessed to make it and to be selected. And so the criteria for getting in is way down. The mission is enforcing whatever the president wants you to enforce on any given day. He shouldn't be giving orders to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General should be telling him, look, we don't take orders from the White House. I understand that you are head of the executive branch, but historically, the Department of Justice has operated independently, and we will continue to do so. That's what Bondi should be saying, but she's not saying.
Yeah, and that translates to everywhere. This is a perfect place to take our sponsor break. Of course, we have Shopify, as always, our wonderful sponsor, my favorite sponsor. So let's take a break for our sponsor. We'll come right back. I started this podcast and my former small businesses. It seemed like I had to figure it out all on my own. I mean, everything from scripts, setup, locations. It was super overwhelming. And every day seemed to introduce a new decision that I needed an answer. When you're starting off with something new, it always seems like your to-do list keeps growing. And every day it's new tasks, new things you got to get done. And it overwhelms your life. And then find that right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything, can be such a game changer. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names you know to ones you should, like Sugar and Spruce, to brands that are just getting started. So accelerate your efficiency whether you're uploading new products or you're trying to improve existing ones. Shopify is full of helpful AI tools that help you from product descriptions, headlines, even your photography. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and all of it. And the best part, if you get stuck, because let's face it, I'm kind of old, Shopify is always around 24/7 customer support that you can call when you're in a crunch. So start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/Fred. Okay, let's go to shopify.com/Fred. And one more time, that's shopify.com/Fred. Hit them today. Thanks. Thanks, Shopify. So let's circle a really important part of all this. Like, you're running for Texas Attorney General, right? And a tough state, but we also know it's a blue wave year. I opened the show with a discussion of has been about a lot of people are frustrated right now. It looks like I'm looking at my notes. Chip Roy is the leading contender for the takeover for Paxton. If those don't remember, it's Ken Paxton as the current Attorney General. Has been there for a while. He had agenda. My favorite part of reading up to get ready for this interview, Tony, was all of the Republicans in the race, which is in March, are saying they're going to continue the legacy of Ken Paxton. What is the legacy of Ken Paxton as Attorney General of Texas, Tony?
Corruption, if I could put it all in one word.
There you go. I was going to say, that's why I put it there.
Yeah, so Ken Paxton has been indicted. He's been impeached. He's been sued by his top deputies. And on and on and on. And that's just the start of it, because the number of political and frivolous lawsuits that he's filed has exceeded the number that anybody has ever known or imagined could be. And so I don't keep up much with my Republican contenders. I let them fight over there, but people tell me things. And you're right. People said Ken Paxton, they tell me the contenders have all said he's done a great job and we want to continue his legacy. No, people, you don't want to continue his legacy. That's not what we need in Texas. We need somebody who's anti-corruption and not for corruption. Someone who's a fighter for the people and not a fighter for a political party, and not suing the state of Texas on behalf of the Republican National Convention when you're the AG.
There's been just constant politicization of that job. There's, like you said, they've signed into every lawsuit, all the way back to 2020 with the campaign, and they never miss a chance to jump into national issues. Where does that leave Texas, Tony? I mean, there's it's like I say with DOJ, there's real ass crimes, right? There's real crimes that need to be resolved. There's a real job for the Texas AG. It feels like Paxton's been too busy glossing his resume as a national Republican than actually doing the job of Attorney General. And that job is crime, right? I mean, have you seen that breaking into Texas? And as your priority, getting back to the business of being an AG again?
Yes, that's absolutely my first priority. So yes, I've seen, so there's two things. One is he's just a political animal to start with. Right. And the second thing is, now that he's running for Senate, he's even amped up his lawsuits and his political actions, targeting everybody, to include blue cities, to include the district attorneys. And why he's suing his own district attorneys in his own state, I don't know, if it's not for political reasons. But yes, that's a problem. He led the lawsuit against Joe Biden's win in 2020, unsuccessful, of course. And so the state is pissed. Everyone, other than the four folks that are running to replace him, I haven't run across anyone who says he's done a great job, his legacy should be continued, and we want more Ken Paxton. What they tell me is they want somebody who understands corruption, somebody who has been there fighting for people for decades and understands what it means to put the people first and not my political party or my rich buddies.
Yeah, and not themselves, right? I mean, that's the thing about Paxton. Paxton's lined his own pocket, lined the pocket of his affair partner. I mean, he's been a busy guy, but he hasn't been busy prosecuting crime. I mean, what will be your as you go into the job and you're looking at what Texas is dealing with? It is a border. It really is an actual border state. Where everybody tries to say they're a border state now. And my own Republican leadership in Missouri calls it a border state. I'm like, I am positive we're not a border state. And Tennessee has never invaded us. Well, maybe back in the 1800s. But having said that, Texas is. You've got real challenges ahead of you. What do you, as you look at the state of Texas, a giant state, as an attorney general, it's a giant job. It's a statewide job of one of the top economies in the world. What do you prioritize as you go into that office, and what will you be doing as soon as on day one?
Really, it's rather simple, and it's prioritizing the people first. And that means that could be a lot of things, but as long as you keep that as your guiding star, your North Star, then all the other things will fall into place. And so you're right, it is an incredibly important state. It's a big state, 32 million people. And these people need to be protected, and they have not had. The Attorney General sues on behalf of the citizens, and he also protects the states when it's been sued. But it hasn't been done. I mean, that office you mentioned, what's the state of the office? The office is largely used for Ken Paxton's political purposes. And one high priority for me, because I've been in this arena my entire life, is enforcing consumer protection enforcement. That's been largely left undone because they're suing, nonprofits who are registered people to vote, and on and on and on. And so what I really want to do is beef up the consumer protection enforcement aspect of the job, fight fraud and crime, crypto fraud, elder fraud, which is running amok. Someone told me they recently called the office and they said, we don't do that. We don't investigate those crimes. And so we're gonna change that on day one.
Jesus, I mean, it's got to be shocking for just average citizens. And this is, it sounds like a lot of the conversations I've been having in my other job that I have is it's not even partisan anymore. This shouldn't be a partisan. It shouldn't even be a partisan debate, right? This is about who's going to serve the state, who's going to save the working people of the state and their needs, and the elderly of our state and the other. And this has become it. It shouldn't be this partisan an issue, should it?
I just want to be clear. It is not partisan. It is an apolitical job. That office, I grew up in the department, in the FBI, the old FBI, and the old DOJ, and it was non-political. We didn't care what your political affiliation was, whether you were a Republican or a Democrat. If you broke the law or harmed someone, you were going to be punished with equal measure. We didn't know what our colleagues' political affiliation were, and we didn't care. All we cared about was protecting the people. And that's what that office should be about. And when I become the Attorney General of the state of Texas, day one, I'm going to communicate with every Attorney General employee. This is the mission. And we do not do politics. What we do is protect people.
That's it. The basic oath and everything else. I guess that's the biggest thing you can see. It is a tough time, right? And it's a tough time across the country, and people are scared. I think, do you hear that as you travel the state? Like, it's real fear now. I mean, I've talked to people too. I mean, do you hear that as you visit folks? I know you're traveling the state, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm traveling the state extensively.
It's fear, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm traveling as we speak. Yeah, and incredible fear. Fear of their own government. Fear of, what's going to be cut next. Fear of, if the federal government cuts these grants, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose my job? Is the federal government going to protect me, protect my job? For example, if NIH grants are taken, is the Attorney General going to sue to get those back, like has been done in many other blue states? The answer right now is no, probably not. But the answer after the election in November will be yes. The Attorney General will be the first to protect you, and not just that, but also their safety. And so people are very, very concerned, worried whether the government is there for them or against them.
And it has to be rebuilt. I taught this a lot, as it'll be the final thing I harass you about is, they've torn down so much. And I know, watching Texas from a distance, and what we hear about what Paxton's done to the AG's office, and you said it, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. You're going to have to rebuild a lot, aren't you? You're going to have to kind of, in a lot of ways, start from scratch. Like you said, entire departments have been undermined, if not deleted, haven't they?
Yeah. The culture needs to change. He's recruited a lot of political animals to carry out his mission. People who believe that that's how an Attorney General's office should operate because it's all they've ever known. So we're going to have to hire some good folks. Luckily, there's a ton of good DOJ, former DOJ, and enforcement people out there who are looking for a place to continue to help the people of Texas and the people of America. And so there are going to be professionals and resources available to us. And so I really look forward to that. But yes, the culture needs to change. It will be revamped right away.
All right. Well, most important, I got a question. I talked to you a lot about your background, your bio. You're running for Attorney General. Your primary is in a month or less. So where can people find you? Where can the Midas Mighty find out more information about what you're doing, Tony? And so
thank you for asking me. Yeah, we're coming off a very, very good several weeks. Huge endorsements from two of the major newspapers in Texas. And the reason oftentimes I would what they speak about, I would say is tell your audience that San Antonio and also the Austin main papers they articulate our case for us, and it's essentially what you and I have been talking about. And you need somebody in there that's going to fight corruption and bring integrity back to the office. So people can find me at Tony Box for Texas, TONY Box, BOX for Texas. I tell the people, check the box for box. My socials is also Tony Box for Texas.
That's solid.
And stuff. Do remember.
I like it a lot. I got super easy. Mine's not that easy, but I appreciate it. Well, Tony, man, thanks for taking time for me. I appreciate you. I know it's a crazy time when you're this close to election, but we wish you the best of luck and really appreciate your insight and good luck out there, brother.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Wonderful to talk to another Army guy, a guy who's been in Iraq, has done all the good things. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. We didn't talk about it, but yeah, I tell the story all the time, Tony, about how I tell them on my other job, sitting there in Iraq, talking to Iraqis. I started off with the troops in the 101st Airborne, then I was advising the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, and in Baghdad, and thinking the stories I heard about the dictatorship. My friend Dr. Muhammad, who died later after I left, would tell the story of how you learned not to see things. You learned not to see when the men in the black SUV showed up next door and took the family in the night. I remember thinking to myself, thank God we don't have to deal with that in America. And here we are in 2026, and you're running for office, and we've got masked agents of the government scooping people off the streets, breaking the windows of their car, leaving babies behind the car. I mean, it is, I think for men like us and women who have served over there, having heard those stories, it's a shocking time. So I'm glad you're stepping in, Zelda.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Right. Thank you, sir. All right. Good talk. We'll see you. We'll stay in touch.
All right. We'll do it.
Oh, wow. Great. I love these conversations. Yeah, that bio, you got to go to his website, folks. That's TonyBoxForTexas.com. Check him out. It's great leader. Obviously, you can see his heart and his brain's in the right place, that we need to bring back integrity. We bring back service, bring back nonpartisan leadership. Look, the one thing we've learned in the decades now of Republican overreach and lack of integrity for people like Trump, and then of course all of the leaders of Texas these days who put partisanship against service, we just want people to do the job we hired them for, right? I mean, I hear this constantly while I'm doing my other job. People just want somebody to do the job we elected you to do, right? If you're a mayor, be a mayor. Get the snow off the roads, pick up the trash. If you're the attorney general of a giant state, prosecute crimes, protect consumers, sue on behalf of the state when they're wronged, when the people of your state are wronged, not use it for corruption, not use your office as a personal launching pad to larger office. Do the job we hired you for. And folks, as you look at who you're electing, as you look at these next elections, and I'm talking not even partisan, even on our own side of that partisan divide, hire people who want to do the job. Hire people who don't promise the moon and deliver nothing, right? Hire people who can get things done, right? It's time, if we are in an era of anything, we should be in an era of people who get shit done. As you look at your candidates, as you look at who you're going to invest in as a donor, who you're going to volunteer for, people like Tony who get shit done are the people you want to hire, okay? Because that's what you're doing. You're hiring a person to represent you. You're hiring a person to be your member of Congress or your mayor or your governor. Hire people to get stuff done, not talk, not peacock, not kiss the president's butt. hire people to get job done. So that's why it's a pleasure to have Tony. We got some more hot seats coming out. Again, the show here, we're here every Friday night live with all you great folks. Thanks for joining me this week, as always. We really appreciate you. All the things are going on. You know where to find us, all the information. There's new hot seats going out now. We got a new one coming out with Rob Sand. It's going to be a good one. He's running for governor of Iowa. Incredible man. We've got more of those coming. Of course, we're here every Friday night. The best place to find all this stuff, of course, is our Substack, fpwellman.substack.com. That's fpwellman.substack.com. You can keep track of the other job that I'm doing and the job I'm applying for right now, my day job that I do. Check that out there at the fpwellman.substack.com. It's free to join, free to subscribe, free to watch, free to do all the things and share. As always, share, like, subscribe. I can't believe you didn't hit the like already. What are you doing if you haven't hit the like already? If you haven't commented, get in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, I'm Fred Wellman. Keep up the fight, folks. We're not done yet. It's just started. Now let's do it. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.